Despite what their moms told them, they just aren't talented enough for radio. Unfortunately, anyone can have a show these days. Sean.
Well, I'm pretty hard to figure out sometimes. In fact, I can't even figure myself out sometimes, so don't you try to.
Joe.
You're an idiot and really a disloyal person.
This is the Cuse Militia. Now, those two unapologetically biased orange-blooded homers, Sean and Joe.
It's the most bullshit thing I've seen in 30 years.
Welcome, orange men and ladies. Happy Sunday. This is the Cuse Militia with Sean and Joe. For the Believe Entertainment Network, at Cuse Militia on the socials. Go there, join the Militia live on X Spaces for the fan feedback segment of every post-game show for football this year. As always, welcome. Syracuse, they went out and they got waxed in the first quarter. It kind of set the pace. It was a little bit tough to get back from that. 17-0. Trailing there, and then got within 10 two different times, and then it just seemed like whatever they did, Tennessee was doing better, including scoring. So, we'll talk about it. You'll hear from us, and we'll hear from you in fan feedback. We've got the year's first montage, and just glad to be back. I don't know if I did expect a little bit better of a game, but in hindsight, it's kind of one of those things. It's like bigger, stronger, faster, more athletic is kind of the tail of the tape. A lot of inexperience on Syracuse squad, and there's some good things, and we'll talk about them. Like I said, they didn't give up. They managed to narrow the deficit down twice to within 10, and just every time they scored, the defense just could not stop Tennessee. And I'm not quite sure. I don't know how much to take away from it. Kind of just like always, these early games, right? I mean, you could be playing a crap squad and just go out and wax them. You're not going to be able to really tell what you can take away from it. This is a little bit, but not really. I mean, we'll talk about it, but like with this one here, I think that just talent wise, there's a big gap there, and this team will get better. And it's the first time on the field in real game play for most of this team playing together. And I don't know if what we should expect, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, I think to me, and again, I know we'll get to the montage, and Fran talked about it. I think it's more yes, there's a little bit of a talent gap, but I think also too, the way that Tennessee, they run their offense, the way that obviously their quarterback has started a lot more games than Angeli, and their offensive line, albeit a lot of them were replaced by transfers, they came from big schools where they had experience, and Josh Heupel's, they just run the ball down, the throat of other teams. They've done it to SEC schools. So we kind of knew that that's what it was. And, Tennessee didn't go in there and look at us like we were a lesser than school that they were just going to throw the rock around and they stayed true to who they were, and they ran the ball, ran it down our throats, and set up for passes, like play action passes, like, the 73-yard touchdown that was just a timely touchdown. I mean, they're going to a lot was spoken about Joey Aguilar yesterday, but take away that 73-yard touchdown, we kept him to under 175 yards throwing. But we didn't touch him. We didn't get a sack. We had very few tackles for losses or negative plays. And realistically, I think that this is going to be a better gauge for our coaches than it is probably the fans. A lot of new numbers out there, a lot of new names. The game was going fast, the tempo with Tennessee. So it was kind of hard to keep up with who was doing what and who got injured and all that other kind of stuff. But to your point, I don't know if it was nerves or just an inexperience or being unprepared, but, even the first quarter, when you see what happened, I mean, they basically had to punt two different times because of either penalties or sacks or both. and to allow a team like Tennessee to get a 17-point lead to your, point. I mean, they were dominating us, and it was still only 10-0. We had the ball. Or I'm sorry, they had the ball, and we forced a fumble, and it was looking like we got a little momentum on our side, and then
we fumble the ball, and it's a scoop and score, and then
right, yeah, and then after everything that happens in the first half, you get it to a 24-14 game, and you're like, okay, we scored, we get the ball at half, we can score, maybe make this a single possession game, but no, Tennessee, they score before half to make it a 17-point game, 31-14. And then when we get the ball out of halftime, the second play from scrimmage, we get a ball tipped and it's in. So, I mean, you got to give them credit the way that they fought, the way, it's obviously you wanted it to be a little closer. And there was even a time when, we had a chance to go for two and make it, a 16-point, a two-possession game. But again, we were chasing from the first quarter. I mean, after the first quarter, from second quarter all the way to the fourth quarter, we lost by 2 points. So you got to give them kudos. And to be perfectly honest, I would rather our coaching staff figure out where the weak links are, because sometimes you can hide some weaknesses or some weak links through, fall ball or spring ball or through practice because you're just playing against yourselves, right? And then if you come out and you play a Colgate first and then a UConn, then you can still kind of hide your weaknesses a little bit through those two games. And then the next thing you know, you're not figuring out what your big weaknesses are and what you need to change until week 3. So I think that they stayed tough, but there's too many just missed tackles, untimely penalties, sacks, and Tennessee was just too good for us, too prepared for us, too big for us yesterday. But I will say that, that's not a situation where by the end of the year we couldn't be closer to where they are. But I'm just glad that we saw it the first game. I think the coaches are going to be able to take a lot away from the tape and who showed up, who was playing a little nervous, who kind of wilted when the bright lights were on versus who stepped up. So hopefully we can take that and now we can just work through those things next 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, before we go any further, I can't even remember what's in this montage right now that I'm looking at, to be honest with you. So let's hit that up. We'll touch on anything there, and then we'll move on. We'll talk about do some fan feedback live on X Spaces, and we'll close out, and that'll be it for today. It sucks coming here and doing a loss right off the bat, but it is what it is. Sometimes you just need to be humbled. Sometimes it's good to expose yourself with a team like a Tennessee, and just to, like you said, the coaches are going to get more out of it than the fans because it exposed every weakness that we have, which is run defense and offensive line pass protection.
Yeah. And like Fran always talks about, he wants to get in the playoff. He wants to play for the national championship. So we just played a team that, for all intents and purposes, they could be in a position to get back there this year, to look like they did the first game. So that defense looked good. So, that's going to be something that Fran Brock can go in and be like, look, that's a playoff team. You want to be there? This is what we need to do. This is what you need to look like. Could be Alabama fans and just thinking you're going to go into Tallahassee for the first time ever in history and wax Florida State's ass and then get the mud hole stomped in you for the first half. So it could be worse. Okay? No one was expecting that. All right. Nope.
Let's hear what Coach had to say following the game.
First, I want to take my hat off to Tennessee. I thought their coaching staff did an amazing job at preparing their players. They fought really well. Just a classy football team, and they did an amazing job. Also want to be able to thank our staff and our fans for supporting us, following us, being down here. It's a great venue. I think that this Aflac game has been going on for years, and I'm very thankful that we had the opportunity of being in it. I'm happy for our players and their families and just all the fans and all the alum that got a chance to come out here and support us today. It really means a lot that they were able to do that. I think that Steve did a pretty good job. I think that he had our team behind him. We fully support him. I fully support the way that he played today. A couple mistakes, but nothing major that we can't fix. I feel as though he'll be a good quarterback for us down the road. Real good quarterback.
I know there are no moral victories, but did you see some things today that you feel like you're encouraged by and you can build upon here moving forward? I'll
have to watch the game forwards, though. I mean, I'm very thankful that our players continue to play, right? But for me to just say, like, I don't, it's about wins and losses. But I am very thankful that the players went out and they fought and they stayed together. I think that's a part of us building the culture and building the program. So I'm extremely thankful that they were able to do that. But to tell you there's some moral victories or things of that nature, I think that's, for me, that would be like a loser's mentality. So I can't say that, but I'm very thankful that our players stuck together and they continue to fight until the last play.
Steve was under duress a lot tonight. Just one, how do you feel like he handled the pressure from their pass rush? And what do you think Tennessee's front four did so well to match up with your O-line today?
I think they did a lot of disguising, just moving the front, doing different things of that nature, bringing backers from different levels, having them outside. Then they'll also go in and stunt the front, then have them blitzing from the inside. So they did a good job doing that. I would say Steve handled it well. Maybe held the ball possibly a little long, maybe one or two times, but in the same sense, I just want to take my hat off to their defense. I thought they did a good job, and they gave us some looks that obviously was a problem. I think we gave up 5 sacks tonight, and that's not good. It's hard to win when you give up 5 sacks, so we got to go back and be able to fix that.
Along the lines of your run game, Coach, all the way in the back, Will Nixon's a guy that's played at this level. Willis, only played in a couple of games last year. How would you assess his play, kind of stepping into that role today?
I think we got to give Willis the ball more. I think he's, I've been saying for a while, at some point, I got you. It's, you got to get him the ball. We want to make sure that we get him the ball more. I think he's going to be the guy that can run the rock. I think him and Will both do a good job. We want to get other guys involved also. So he did a good job, though. I think he's the best player on the team from an offensive perspective. So, be a good deal. Okay, you guys pause the cameras and stuff like that real fast for me. It's kind of hard to be up here trying to answer you guys' questions when y'all keep talking back there. It's a little bit disrespectful. I know we lost, but let's focus a little bit.
Can we stop, please? Thank you.
Right, like you said, 5 sacks is too much, but it's also 4 new faces. It's Tennessee. How did you think the offensive line sort of did?
I think Tennessee did a really good job, but that doesn't mean it's okay, right? You said it's 4 new faces, it's Tennessee. I thought they did a really good job. I feel that there was a time or two that if we would have got another stop, we'd have got a chance to go score. So it was like a kind of a close game to a certain extent. So 5 sacks is unacceptable no matter what it is. As long as I'm the head football coach, that will never be acceptable for us to be able to do that. So I have to get us better. Like I told the players, I got to do a better job of getting you prepared throughout the week. So that way when we get into this atmosphere and we have an opportunity to keep it close. I think our players are good enough that we need to make sure the game gets low. I don't want the game to ever get out of reach, right? As long as they're in reach, we'll have a chance to win because that's the way college football is, right? When it gets out of reach, I want you guys to start thinking that their players are just that much better, right? Because people always say, well, they beat us like that, France. A couple people coming in started telling me, you got to get better players, you got to get better players. Now my players are straight. We got to execute. Right? This is a game of execution.
So one thing that didn't come up that you kind of tiptoed around was early mistakes in the first quarter, especially the nerves. You talk about some kind of boneheaded penalties and just, procedural penalties that we started seeing called a lot last year that they're really cracking down on. And, with that said, you've got to be more disciplined, I think, in that area. If you're going to go against, most of this schedule, you can't be making those mistakes. And I guess it seemed like last year the team was pretty disciplined and they did a decent job. So I guess that's something to look forward to, down the road, and hopefully it gets cleaned up because it screwed us on a drive where we had some momentum and it ended up I think it was our second drive, and we ended up having to punt the ball, and then they go down and score, and now it's 10-0.
Yeah.
So I can't remember what that play was.
I think it was the first drive.
What was it?
I think it was the first drive, and I think it was
It was a first down, and it was called back
because of
illegal procedure.
Shift or illegal procedure or illegal shift or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, someone wasn't set on the line is what it was.
Yeah, we got called on that twice in the game, and then there was also a time where we had an ineligible man downfield, I think, after a first down as well. So, I mean, again, when you look at it, it's all timely stuff, right? Or we just get a first down, and then it's 2nd and 9, and then Steve Angeli gets sacked, and then we get a delay of game penalty right after that. Next
momentum killers.
100%.
Yeah. I was surprised he wasn't asked about it, but when you talk about Dart and you talk about what, he's preaching out there, it just was, it's like, come on, this is the stuff. It's nerves. I get it. Like first game of the year.
Some of it. Yeah.
I mean, but first game of the year, I guess you just don't, let's not have it be a trend. That's all I'm saying.
It can't be, and especially the first game, it's like a feeling out. It's a feeling out period, and you just hoped that it was going to be one of those things where, they go down, okay, field goal, maybe we get a couple. You're hoping that it wasn't going to get to a 17 point, right? Like just have a little bit of a feeling out period. Okay, 10-0. All right, now let's get a touchdown, right? Not a scoop and score for 7.
Well,
right after turnover. So
the field goal on the first possession was a huge win. That showed some resilience. You get pushed down all the way down the field, and then you come up big on defense with a stop, and they kick a field goal. That's a win for Syracuse. And then they're going down, and it looks like they're going to either match this thing or put it in the end zone, and with the momentum that they had, and then it's just like destroyed. So, yeah, right. This just needs to be cleaned up. Steve Angeli, I thought he was pretty poised, man. To be honest with you, I didn't see where there was too much. Like the dude was kind of like running for his life, and he might have held the ball a couple times too long. But at times there was just nowhere for him to go. I mean, there was an obvious blitz situation at one point where this linebacker just came in totally unblocked. It wasn't even close.
Yeah, I mean, I watched that one, and to be perfectly honest with you, three of our offensive linemen went left and let that guy go in there. So, I mean, that was just a complete picking up delayed blitzes and some line. There was definitely some line issues yesterday for sure, especially on a couple of those delayed blitz situations. There was another time where Steve Angeli, he kind of stepped right into a delayed blitz, but there was also times where you saw him stand in the pocket and get hit and deliver, a throw, or the time where he slipped out of that sack, made a guy miss, and then got the first down to David Clement. You know what I mean? So
was that either a big third down or a fourth down play?
I think it was a big third down. Yeah. So
yeah, he came up big on that. And I mean, I don't know, it's his second start, by the way. It's a dude's second start of his career. So, I mean, I don't know. I didn't see anything negative, so I'm not saying there was, but I just don't know how much you can heap on him for any of this. The one interception was a tip ball. Obviously, the fumble they got strip sacks, but it was just barely. He's just was not protecting that ball very good at all.
The problem is that at that point, as soon as you step up and as soon as someone's going to get you got to tuck the ball. And I think the defender came around and kind of trapped his arm against his body, and he couldn't get the ball out of, you couldn't tuck it. So inevitably he was going to, fumble that.
He did have 275 or 74 yards passing, which is good against this defense. Syracuse did score 26 points, which is big. I think I think it says something for this offense did not look that bad all in all. Like, take away the first quarter and this offense was doing what they could. It was the defense was getting, I thought it was going to be reverse. I thought this would have been a lower scoring game.
Yeah.
Just kind of.
Initially, yes. I mean, I did worry about Tennessee being able to run the ball down our throats, which obviously they did. But I think that we limited a lot of the big passing plays, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Justine Willis, I mean, he looked pretty good. If you look at the
yeah, that's where we're going now. You can transition there. I mean, he was awesome. 91 yards, three rushing touchdowns? So, or two.
No, it's three.
Was it three? Okay, yeah.
So, and that's where some of the things are skewed too. You know, you look at the Tennessee rushing, and again, I don't want to poo-poo on big plays, and obviously big plays are a problem, you know, but sometimes when people sit there and, they averaged 6.5 rushing yards, you know, per play, and it's like, I mean, again, don't get me wrong, Tennessee's rushing attack, very, very good, but then you look at us and it says, they only averaged 2.3. Well, we had Dan Villari rushed it twice. Malachi James rushed it twice. Tyshawn Russell, a receiver, he rushed it once, and then they count the sacks. So when it looks like 44 carries for 103 yards, well, Steve Angeli technically had 7 carries for negative 27 yards because of the sacks, right?
Well, so we talk about this a lot. You bring it up quite a bit. I just go with what the stats say, and then you, there's been numerous times where you've been like, well, I mean, you know, some of those are sacks.
But you got to kind of look at you're right, because
if you want an accurate picture of it, yes.
If you want to take everything else away and just say between Justine Willis and Will Nixon, they had 32 carries for 124 yards, which equals up to about 3.8, almost. I mean, 3.8 to 4 yards a rush. I mean, Justine Willis averaged 4 yards a carry. Will Nixon averaged 3.5 or 3.7. So realistically, we're more around the 4-yard mark. So to be perfectly honest with you, to have a rushing attack that looked like that against a defensive line like Tennessee, a defense period like Tennessee, to me, that's really, really good. You know what I mean? I think that this year it could be opposite on our offense. Last year, our offense, it was almost like we passed to open up the run. And this year, I think we're going to be able to do the opposite. So there was definitely some bright spots. Jonte Cook looks like he's going to be explosive. Justice Ross Simmons had some good catches. Dan Villari had a lot of usage, so you can see that he's going to have, you know, and even Tyshawn Russell. And I mean, Daryl Gill, he didn't catch a ball till the third quarter. So
late in the third
obviously, quarter. Obviously there's going to be a lot of growth, but I think that you saw the talent and what this team could be if they just fixed the little mistakes. And then obviously there was I saw a bunch of substitutions and things like that as far as on the offensive line. I think they're still trying to figure that out, but if we can run the ball, if you've seen Willis, I mean, he looks like he's poised to have a really, really good year. And if he could do that, then I think that'll help with helping with the play actions and helping Steve Angeli a little bit, maybe not get sacked or be under pressure so much, you know?
Yeah, if they can get something going on the ground. I mean, and like you mentioned yesterday, I don't think you mentioned it yet here, but the run block game wasn't terrible. I mean, it helps to have a guy with that kind of power in there. I mean, I think his first run, he's bulldozed an offensive lineman and sent him to the sidelines. So, I mean, he's got strength. He's got the strength he needs to be able to be effective in the short yard game. I mean, I think all 3 of his touchdowns were like 2-3 yards. They're just pushing him in, right? So, you know, he's a strong dude, and yeah, it's huge to have a run game like that. A little bit different than LeQuint, but if you can get the 1-2 punch going with Will Nixon in there, and I mean even Russell, it's just they could be really good. It was one of the things I was excited to look for yesterday was the run game. So, but all in all, with the run game and especially Willis, it's just that and the poise I think of Steve Angeli to kind of, you know, he didn't show a lot of frustration. He was kind of taking it in stride. I mean, he got beat up, man. You know, there was some awkward hits and there was some awkward moments like on the ground when he would look like he got rolled up on one time, and you know, he took a beating. So, but the offense altogether, I think, was resilient. You know, I think that they did, like I said before, they did what they could do, I think, and you know, just to get counterpunched every time they did something, that's just like deflating.
Oh, that's really what it is, right? Is between again, we talk about it, the small mistakes, you know, the untimely penalties in sacks that kind of killed drives. When we did have something positive happen, and you're like, oh, we scored or we got a turnover, then it was just the same thing. Like, we couldn't keep that momentum. Like, Tennessee turned around and made a play. And, that's the difference between, a team that has a chance to turn around and go to the college football playoff again and a team that's still trying to figure out, how to play in the bright lights. And again, it's a very new team. So, kind of got to take it with a grain of salt. I know Coach says there's no moral victories, and I'm sure he's not going to look at it that way. But there was a lot of questions that had to be answered, a lot of things that people were looking forward to, of like, well, what's this guy going to look like? What's this guy going to look like? And I think if you can put it in perspective based upon the team that we played and the defense that we played, I'm I'm a lot more positive about this offense than I thought I was going to be after this game.
That's fair. I mean, I would tend to agree with you. After watching Clemson last night, though, I mean, they're a serious problem on both sides of the ball. They're better than Tennessee, in my opinion.
I guess so is LSU then.
Well, yeah, LSU. Yeah, but we don't have to play LSU.
No, I know. Tennessee might,
but I mean, Clemson's better than Tennessee. So, just from what I watched, man, that was a defensive battle for a really long time. With that, the whole game, actually.
17-10, yeah.
Yeah, the whole game. I mean, it was late, and it came down to one more drive. It came down to a fourth down, fourth and whatever the hell it was. I don't remember. It was late. Anyway, you know how that goes.
Yep.
Some areas to improve: protecting the quarterback, the run defense. I think we've hammered that. The turnovers and penalties. And I mean, it's the basics, man. I guess we'll just have to see. I don't want to say I'm tired of it, but that sounds cliche. But it seems like every year we got to worry about what the hell kind of protection. Last year wasn't bad. What kind of protection the quarterback's going to have, and he's going to get killed every game. It's frustrating.
Yeah.
So.
Very, very, very frustrating. And again, they're always going to talk about the defensive line. I think you spoke on it. I think the last podcast where I don't know if it might have just been a different conversation, but like in the past, how, we used to talk about how if teams just would understand our weaknesses and just change, like what Boston College did last year, just line up and just ran it down our throats because they knew that's what our weakness was, I want to get past that point. And it's unfair to judge our defensive line and our defense in a whole after 1 week, especially against Tennessee. Yeah, we got the ball ran down our throats. Yeah, we had some missed tackles, but to me, there wasn't anything that I saw where I said, okay, well, that can't be, that can't be fixed. Yeah. It's just, we failed to get penetration. We failed to get rush, on the quarterback. And I don't know if that was because we were worried about the run, but whatever it was, it didn't work. And then again, even when we had situations, there's a couple different times, and, God bless him. I mean, good player, great player, leader, Derek McDonald. I mean, I think the first touchdown, he had a chance to line
bulldoze
right in the hole with the damn quarterback or the running back, and then even there was another time later in the game where he was out in he went out with a running back to defend the pass against him, and Joey Aguilar, he rolled out to the left and he was just a couple inches away from making a really good play, but he got beat by the running back. So just little things they're right there. I think there was another play where Deion Wilson, I think he ran into the running back who got the ball in the backfield, would have been tackled for loss, but the guy slipped under him and then ran for 40 yards. It's right there, we don't get set for half a second when we get a third down. Just those little things that those are fixable. I didn't see anything that wasn't like, oh God, that's not fixable. This is going to be a problem all year, especially judged against Tennessee. So, by
the way, Tank Williams came back out, so we suspect he's okay. But there was a couple other injuries that Coach was asked about, and there was no update, obviously. So, anyways, I guess we'll wait for whatever, Monday. I guess they probably won't do it Monday. Maybe not. Maybe. I don't know. Right? Because the holiday? I have no idea.
Probably not.
Either way. Whatever. Whatever. I guess he'll be asked again, and we'll see what happens. So,
yeah.
Real quick before we get into fan feedback, I'll just say this. I meant to say this at the beginning, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Geo Heater is now part of, if you did not know, he is part of Syracuse Sports Talk Radio out there in Syracuse. He sits in the captain's chair to do the pregame every week for Syracuse football. He does a tremendous job. I didn't watch any ACC coverage. I watched Gio and Mike McAllister's co-host in there, and it's just really cool because we knew years ago he was easily going to get on Syracuse Sports Talk Radio. I don't think you ever questioned it. We talked about it numerous times, but
I thought that he would get a better. I mean, no offense, but I thought he might have been able to,
Well, yeah, to launch a little bit. Yeah, I think that's a flooded market.
It probably is. And to be perfectly honest with you, he spent the last 4 years as Virginia Tech talking probably more about Virginia Tech than he'd like. So maybe he wanted to move back home and get in the driver's seat on a local radio show for a little while, right?
It is ESPN, so.
Yeah, no. I'm not poo-pooing it. I'm just saying.
I know. I'm just saying. But good on him. The show's good. You want to check it out, go to Twitch. So I was inspired by checking all this out through Twitch and checking and realizing, man, I wonder if we could do that. Well, the answer is we can't because we tried. It's not going to stop me, but we just tried a minute ago, and I don't think my computer has the capacity to be able to handle multiple cameras and stream. And with Joe coming in from running Microsoft Teams, it just, my computer's like, nope, shutting cameras down left and right. So
I don't know if I have the mental capacity to deal with it. So.
I mean, I know. Well, I'll figure it out. If it comes down to getting a new computer, it's not going to be anytime soon. This computer has done me good for probably a good 5 years at this point. So anyways, this is only my second computer, and we've been doing this for almost 10 years. This November will be 10 years. So that's crazy.
Well,
it'll be our 10th. No, it'll be our 10 years. It'll be our 11th Syracuse basketball season. Anyway, That's it. Let's hear from you.
It's time to hear from you, the loudmouths from the Loud House.
All right, you guys know what to do. Everything is really loud right now. You guys know what to do at the end of every game. I ask for your thoughts on that game. You give them. We talk about them here. I'm going to take care of Twitter, and Joe is going to take care of Facebook. And apologize to Luke, who was waiting in the spaces. We had some issues, so he was only getting bumper music for the past 10 minutes. Okay. All right, let's go. Joe, are you there?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right. Just making sure because I can't see you. Let's go. Oh, well, let's do this. Let's see. I haven't looked at these, so just so you know, I'm just trying to filter these as I go. At Orangeman always, too many self-inflicted wounds. Definitely too many early. Felt like it was the beginning of the game. It was just a team like Tennessee. You're not coming back from that. However, I was thinking, and I told my son who was texting me yesterday, remember the Miami game last year where it looked like it was over before it barely got started, and we ended up coming back to win that game. So, albeit that was in the Dome. Either way, though, those things can happen. I'm one of those guys that likes to keep hope alive until I can't.
Oh, yeah. Of course.
So,
at
Oil Cuse, defense isn't good. I'm not sure if it's the players or the coaches. Offense is going to be good. Tennessee is a good team. Joe is nasty AF, as always. The staple. Yeah, I agree with that. Simply put, I agree with that. Defense isn't good. I mean, it wasn't good yesterday. It didn't look good yesterday. And I have to imagine that it's a little bit of both, players and coaches. Fran Brown's going to take the fall for anything, as he should, as the leader of this team. But, I think the offense, to do what they did against that defense in a mostly hostile place, was actually pretty good. And I can see how this offense is probably going to be pretty good as the year goes on, and with a different type of run game, or a power run game, than what we've seen with LaQuinn Allen. It shows some promise for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And you're not going to look your best after losing that many people the first week against Tennessee. So,
right.
Work in progress.
Work in progress, to say the least. At Cuse Man 14, new quarterback, new system, 17-0 in the first quarter against a very strong team in their house. Well, kind of, not really. Thought we stabilized in the second and third quarter, and into the fourth quarter, defense gave up too many yards against a very solid offense. Hopefully we can address that in upcoming weeks. That and the offensive line again. Here we are when we're going to have to address that too. And coach took responsibility, saying, hey, look, it's on me to get these guys prepared for teams like Tennessee. Clemson's going to be a problem, as we mentioned earlier. So it is up to the coaches to get them prepared. And, a lot of it comes down to the coaches around you, but it also comes down to the personnel you have on that's suiting up and hitting the field. So we're just going to have to see. First game, it's like it's just too hard to take a ton away from it, especially going down that quick, but then kind of leveling off and kind of hold steady offensively. Defensively, they just gave up too much, period. And I mean, what are you going to do? We were thinking that the Tennessee offense wasn't going to be, like I mentioned earlier, before we went live. I thought that this was going to be a way lower scoring game because of the offenses, because of the Aguilar wasn't like lighting things up, but yesterday he looked pretty good.
So he was the solid starter at App State. Yesterday, he made the right plays that he needed to make. Obviously
decision making.
And as they get into the SEC and they play tougher opponents, ranked opponents from the SEC, then he's going to obviously have to step up and make more plays under more pressure. He wasn't pressured yesterday, and there was times obviously where we struggled to stop the ball. It's rushing, obviously. So. And when you're running the ball so well, it's easy to just, do your little play action and hit a tight end here or a running back there. Hit up some easy throws in zone. Again, not getting any rush on the quarterback. So, but I mean, to me, it's just all the opponent, the way that Tennessee plays, Joey Aguilar, they didn't put him in a position to where he was going to have to throw the ball around. Huck the ball around to win the game. When we spoke about that in our pregame, was that that's kind of where we needed it to go. So I don't know. We spoke about how they couldn't get up to a big lead. We needed to keep it close and possibly make Joey Aguilar make some mistakes. And he only made one mistake with a miscue with the handoff, and then the very next play they got
they got the ball back. Yeah.
They got to score for 7. They got a touchdown.
Right. So yeah, that blows. Hey, we're about to test this. We're about to test this freaking Spaces out right now for the first time. Cuse Waterboy has requested to speak. Tony, unmute yourself. There he is.
Hey, gentlemen. How we doing?
What's up, dude? How was the game?
Voice after the game. The experience before and after was fun. The game itself was kind of rough.
Yeah.
I wanted to call you guys too. I'm live on location at the College Football Hall of Fame down here. I'm actually staring at an Ernie Davis helmet from 1961 and a Tim Green jersey from 1985.
Sweet. Don't.
Yeah, if you guys
don't be trying to leave with it.
Come do it. Yeah, I know, right? Let's see if I get this glass open. But yeah, if anybody ever comes down to Atlanta, $35, come visit this place. It is awesome.
That's awesome. So, what was the atmosphere like as far as Syracuse fans go? They were a little drowned out over the TV.
Yeah, I'd say the odds were not in our favor. Probably 70-30, maybe even 80-20. It was. I was trying to fight the battle, though. You know me. I went in guns blazing. Shirt off, had to go through security 3 times, got patted down. It was wild, but yeah, we could have done better with the fans and their noise. Of course, we're yelling at people in the rich seats to get up and cheer. Typical battle, but the experience was fun. The game itself, kind of rough.
Well, you sound like shit, which tells me you did your part.
I always do, man. I'm the power of like 20 people. And I held my own in the restroom area too. Got into it with a couple of Tennessee fans. They can say a lot as they're walking away, but when I start to follow them, they increase the distance quite quickly.
Well, it's easy to talk a lot of smack when you're dominating a football game, too.
Yeah, but you could. I don't care if you talk smack to my face. Just don't say it in passing and then run away like a little bitch.
Right. There you go. All right, man. Well, look, I appreciate it. First call of the year on you, Tony. Appreciate it. We're testing.
I will say, Sean, that I did see some Waterboy's posts on Twitter, and I see he got the. Well, I saw where you were sitting and stuff like that too. So it's funny. This past last year, actually, not this past year, but about a year ago, I took a work trip down to Atlanta, and 10 of us, our company has season tickets down there and stuff like that. So exactly where you were, the down underneath the stadium and the Sky Lounge,
private suite area.
So we had. I have experienced that. It was a preseason Atlanta Falcons game, so it wasn't a Cuse game or anything. But I have been exactly where you were and experienced that, and that's an awesome, amazing. It's an amazing stadium.
Oh, it's
amazing.
The engineers should get paid triple to design that place. It's immaculate, and like that area where we're sitting, we got the seats for $200. The food was amazing. I probably ate $100 worth of concessions itself, so it was a steal.
I was going to say you got free booze and free food, right?
Yeah, I don't drink, but I think the other guys were saying you got to pay for the booze, but free drinks, free food, buffalo mac and cheese, pizza, nachos, red velvet brownie cakes that I had 6 of because by the third quarter I was eating my feelings.
Well, if you can't take away a win, you got to take away the grub. It's easy. That's an easy concession.
Did you get to see the part, Waterboy, where they had the glass wall where you could see through into the back of like the visitors' locker room, or no?
Oh no, I didn't know that was there. I just chilled by the field level a little bit, and got to see all the concessions. That place is insane. Like if anyone ever comes to Atlanta, visit the Hall of Fame, go to Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's awesome.
Yeah.
And then visit the local bars around there, like George's last night, and great burgers, great vibes. Like it's a fun city, man. It's just don't get an Airbnb in the hood like we did. I knew something was up when the GPS takes us down a back alley. We get into the Airbnb, and they have these like security rods that like basically wedge the door shut on every entry point into the home. I'm like, we are in the hood. We might get robbed. So. Yeah, just kind of research where you're staying at your Airbnb, because I've come down here for Braves games, and their field, Truist Park, is up in the suburbs northwest of here. It is not in Atlanta proper. Like, big difference between downtown and the suburbs.
Yeah, I can imagine. Yeah. Well, be safe, man. Have a safe trip back to Syracuse, and we look forward to seeing you back in the spaces, buddy, and in the stands.
Absolutely. Hey, next dome opener next week, your boy turns 40. We're going to get wild.
Oh, all right.
Anybody come find me. We're going to have a great time.
Your birthday Saturday?
Saturday, the home opener.
Nice. Okay, I'll try to remember that.
Yep, I will be shirtless. I'll be the most jacked 40-year-old anybody's ever seen in that building, besides an actual player.
I hope there's no players
promise
at
you.
40. I don't think we had any 40. I don't know if we had any 40-year-old players yet.
Former players. I've seen some of the dads of the
former
players at
Gotcha.
the game today. These dudes are jacked, man. Oh, well, I can't think of his name right now. Number 94. His dad is an absolute unit.
94. Yeah, you got me. Joe? Yeah, me too.
I'll think of it later. My brain's fried, but I'll let you guys go. I'm going to check out the rest of this and go catch my flight.
All right, man. Take care. We'll talk to you soon.
I love you, boys.
All right, bud. Love you, man. Let it.
The Jobity?
The Jobity? Yeah, maybe. Hey, let's do. We got another request here. Let's do another one here though, real quick. At G Mosier 23 on defense, got to tackle way better to find a way to pressure the quarterback. On offense, got to eliminate illegal man downfield penalties and block better, especially in the pass game. Yassine is going to have a big year. Jonte looks like the real deal. Got to get Gil more involved. Yeah, all of that. And I did notice something that I thought about when I read this, and that was that they did get good pressure on the quarterback a few different times. Just they ended up figuring it out and stopping it. So they did have some opportunities early for some big plays against Aguilar, but they ultimately missed. He's not bad at getting out of the way, and not to mention he's, like you mentioned, he did make some pretty good throws, like when he was under pressure. So made the right decision a lot of times. So, all right, let's see. Level Up Luke. Unmute yourself. You are on.
What's up, boys? Yeah, it takes there's that buffer when you activate. So I am here. I am in Atlanta. You can maybe tell by my voice it's starting to recover, but it's kind of like Tony, man. We've lost our voices yesterday. Cuse fans, I think, showed up pretty well. Definitely more than I expected, but that place was loud.
Yeah, it came across the TV fairly good.
Our section was holding its own, but it was tough. It was definitely like a home game for Tennessee.
Yeah, absolutely. You stay for the whole thing?
Yeah, stayed for the whole thing till the bitter end, and it really, my expectations were so high. Coming into this season, I think that we're still going to have a really good season. I think if we can put up 26 points, 28 points, arguably against Tennessee, that we have a pretty good chance with some of the ACC teams on the schedule. And I'm hoping we blow out UConn. That's going to be the real test.
Well,
see what we do against a non-SEC team.
Yeah, I think it's a good point. We mentioned it before we went live about being able to score 26 on Tennessee is really not that bad, and not for anything. You take away, well, ifs and buts or candy and nuts, we all have a Merry Christmas, right? But if we at least if he doesn't fumble immediately after we recover a fumble, the momentum was there. If we don't get a penalty on the first drive, and we get a first down, and then there's a procedural penalty, and kills that momentum. I mean, those were the one early penalty kind of killed things, and that's when my frustration started, was the flags. So yeah. It turned out, though, I think if I remember when I looked, Tennessee was penalized more than we were.
Yeah.
So
that was one of the things I was going to bring up. Was that?
Go ahead, Joe.
I was going to say we only had 4 penalties for 30 yards.
They had 7 for 65.
So the problem with ours is that I believe every single one of those penalties
was like big. There was momentum killers
or drive killer.
A drive killer, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, sometimes there was times where we lost the first down opportunity, and then there was times where it pushed us out of possibly being able to run the ball for a first down, and now we got to pass, and we got sacked, or we got hurried and we didn't complete it. So
yeah. All right, Luke, don't be a stranger to the spaces, man. Get back safe.
Appreciate it, boys.
All right, man.
We'll see you at some of these other games this year.
That's right. Take care. All right, let's take another one, and then we got another request, and we'll go over that. Let's see. At Joe Catskill, it seemed that our team had a plan until they got punched in the face. I bet they play way better from this point forward. Go Orange. And I mean, if you're gonna have a game like this, it's got to be early, right? Isn't it going to be best to have it early and then just get it over with?
And it only makes sense, though, to get it. I mean, it only makes sense with so many new faces, right? Against a team that's already got, a really good defense and a really good offensive line and running game. We knew we were going to get with Tennessee. So.
Right.
There's actually some decent ones on Facebook.
Is there?
Yeah, we only got 6. We only got 6, but they all kind of got,
meat.
Yeah. So,
all right, well,
Dave,
have at it.
Dave Rowley, there's good and bad. The good is that offense has a high ceiling. That's a good thing because Syracuse run defense doesn't look like it's capable of stopping any of this year's opponents. They've got 11 games to convince us otherwise. Still good to have our Orange back playing again. So, I think it's a little too early to say that we're not going to be able to. Just because we weren't capable of stopping Tennessee rushing does not mean we're not capable of, especially the first game of the season, does not mean we're not going to eventually be.
It does not
capable.
mean it's a glaring issue that's going to carry on throughout the year.
Well, at least not versus every single team, right?
Right.
Going into it, I think we already knew that the Tennessees and the Clemsons and the Notre Dames they're going to be tough because obviously, the battle of the trenches is a huge part of football. And those teams have really good offense and defensive linemen, really talented, big linemen. So we know that that's going to be difficult for us. Bob, I'm not going to try to say it. Bob F. The bad Tennessee's O-line was the real issue heading in. And we had 0 sacks and only 2 tackles for losses. The good, Yassine Willis, nothing else. And I think that's a little.
I disagree. That's a little harsh. I think
that's a little harsh. Yeah.
I think Steve Angeli is going to be good. He stays here this year, develops, comes back next year, and that'll be it. But if he comes back next year, I think imagine if we had a McCord for another year. Not saying that this guy's McCord, but I'm just saying though. Imagine if we did. That next year is, that's huge for a quarterback. I mean, you've been in your second year in the system. You know what I'm saying? You've been with the coaches, and it'd be a travesty to have to do this every year and get a quarterback for a year and then swap out and get a quarterback. That would just like the way that it trends. I think that a lot of teams like the Syracuses are susceptible to that kind of like routine. But, we got this guy for 2 years and you can try to develop someone underneath him or work on what you need to work on when he plans on leaving. But with that said, I thought that was a bright spot. The dude held his composure. He got beat up and he still threw for 246 or 247 yards and a touchdown.
No. He was almost 275.
Oh, yeah, it was 274. Right? Something like that. Anyway, yeah. So,
I mean, look, Kyle McCord, he might have thrown over 300 yards against Ohio the first game and everything like that, but that offense got better as the season went on, right? Within those first, 6 games, we still lost to Stanford and lost to Pittsburgh, right? And then it seemed like at some point we were a different offense. You saw the growth as the season went on. And, to start off with Tennessee, it's going to show who's ready to play and who's not and what kind of changes you need to make. And obviously, too, here, the bad, talking about Tennessee O-line was a real issue. I don't know if it was an issue. The teams like Tennessee, they'll lose guys, but they got guys coming in. Between the transfer, they had a 5-star true freshman that came in and started at right tackle, and their other left tackle was, their only starter coming back, and then the rest of their guys were transfers or guys that were ready to come up and, take the starting spot. So I don't know if it was really an issue. So to me, they played pretty good. To comment on that, our boy Andy Stewart said, I think Steve Angeli, like to your point, deserves some appreciation. Couldn't start practicing until the summer with the team. Mm-hmm. Second career second career start, and it's against an SEC team with a top defense. He said, I think with time he's going to be a good quality starter for us. So
I believe that, especially watching yesterday. So,
yep.
GBL on Twitter. You are on. Go ahead, buddy.
How you guys doing?
Good. How you doing, man? Welcome.
Good. Long 24 hours. I flew out yesterday at 6 a.m. I flew back this morning 6 a.m. I'm back in Long Island. It was a crazy day. Had my college buddies from Syracuse all there. It was fun. Got rid of the wives and the kids for 24 hours in the ATL, and then we're back at it now. But I was there yesterday. It was, I wouldn't say disappointing, right? You're going up against Tennessee, but they definitely, targeted the freshman cornerback for sure. They went after him. They threw, 8 passes directly to him. I thought that there's a lot of hype. I think he's going to be a great player. I do think he's young, and they definitely targeted him, obviously. And we got exposed on that side, right? I think that there's a lot of hype around him trying to play wide receiver and cornerback. I think they just need to stick to him at quarterback and give him more reps. I think he's going to be unbelievable.
That's a good point that we hadn't brought up yet. And, he got beat on a long one. And, he's 17 years old. I mean, how much criticism could you even give the kid? I mean, he was resilient. He went back. He
was awesome.
Yeah, he got with the coaches, and I think you're right. If he gets more time at corner, I mean, he's going to be a special player. And he's 17 years old, man. I mean, that's younger than my kid, my oldest kid. So it's wild. When we first started this podcast, he was 7. So,
your son? Yeah.
No, this kid, Devin Grant. So our sorry, but what's that?
He got beat long. Really on that one touchdown.
They didn't have any over the top help either with the safety. He got back. Grant bit on that one, and he didn't have anything over the top, so it wasn't totally his fault, right? So that's kind of that whole play, how that went. But overall, I think that there's some glaring mistakes. I think that I love Fran, but his best friend's the defensive coordinator. There needs to be some accountability, which I talked about on Twitter a bunch. He went after kind of Nixon about the offense, but no, he said, "What do you want me to say about the defense?" It's like, I kind of want you to say that you guys need to improve. The scheme itself last year looked just like this year, right? That was part of the issue last year, and they're supposed to fill that need. Again, you guys just discussed about getting to the quarterback. I didn't see much of that yesterday. They were missing, by the way, you just mentioned about their rookie 5-star right tackle. He was out for the game, so he didn't even play. So they were on their backups, and we still couldn't get home at all, right? And then we lost Kingsley Jonathan to start, which I don't know if that was – it's not by design. I'm guessing they knew he wasn't going to play. They didn't fill that in the portal, which is a problem because they didn't play any young kids yesterday either that are ready to play. So that's going to be an issue going forward if they can't get anyone to get home because we no longer have Diggs, right? We kind of picked up that piece last year. So now we have to have some more defensive ends kind of getting after it. And then in the middle, they got ran over. So it's tough. It's tough. And our linebackers came out of nowhere, right? We have a rookie starting at a freshman who's going to be amazing, but he started over McDonald's. What does that say, right? I mean, no one saw that coming either.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I agree. Demetrius Samuels, he messed up on a play. It was a long, deep ball that he mistimed the jump, and they got called for defensive pass interference. Again, like you said, he didn't have safety help with Devin Grant. Our defensive line could not get off of blocks nor really get any pressure on the other quarterback. You're correct. So, but again, it's tough to.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win. I feel like they're still going to go 8-4. I think they're going to have a good year. It's a really tough schedule. It's not the same as last week, but even next week, Mora has those guys at UConn playing well. This is his 4th season. He's got a great wide receiver. He's got a quarterback. That's not going to be any just walk on site and you're going to win. They're going to have to play, right? I mean, they're going to have to line up just like we do. But this week told us that our offensive line, our defensive line are just not our strong suit today, right? Doesn't mean what it's going to look like going forward. They just need more reps. And, there's tons of transfers in there that haven't played together really that long. So I'm looking forward to seeing what they can come up with. But on the actual scheme and the coaching, they've talked about tackling all summer. The tackling was atrocious yesterday. You have Chris Thomas stop a guy behind the line for a 5-yard loss, and he just lets him go. And then he gets missed again, and now you're running for 46 yards. Those are the type of plays that get you beat. When you're down 17-0 against Tennessee, you used to have last year we had McCord kind of back that up for the exposing of the defense. You don't have McCord walking through the door. Angeli's great. He's going to be awesome. We have 2 years with him. It's awesome. but he's not McCord, right? You can't just go back with offense and try to win this game by slinging it out.
Yeah, I mean, how many times did McCord do that last year too? You know,
a lot. And
Yeah.
I was speaking to my dad about that today actually too, and he's like, well, they were running the ball so much in the second half, and they were taking so much time down, and they can't do that when you're losing like that by that many points. And I said, yeah, but that's also the only thing that was working, right? Like it's not Steve Angeli isn't going to sling it around like Kyle McCord and come back from 21 points. So as much
So
as
you're
I
going to
think
have to win by running the rock this year. I mean, that's our strong suit. You can tell the kid's a beast, 235 pounds running right at you with those holes. I mean, the running game wasn't the problem. It was the pass protection that they didn't protect when there's holes. Like that's basically what happened, right? 4 sacks is not a ton, but it's not great. So still have a lot of work to do. That was probably the top 10 defense in the country, obviously coming out of the gate. So you kind of know where you're up against going forward. I don't know if we'll see a better, maybe Clemson. That might be the best one next, but I'm interested to see what happens this week.
Yeah, me too. A nice little break. You get a little bit of a cupcake, hopefully.
Nah, I don't want to call it a cupcake. I don't want to look past it.
Yeah,
right?
I don't want to look. That's exactly it. I don't want them to get that either, right? I don't want to look past anyone, not even Colgate, right? I went to school with Greg Robinson era, so it was awful. I mean, I'm obviously happy that we have this. Being a freshman, my first game was my whole family went to Syracuse, so I'm the third of 4 kids that went there. My brother went to the U, so I used to go back and forth to the Orange Bowl for those games. But my first game in college was freshman year. I think I was on site for 2 weeks, and it was the Iowa game where they couldn't get in from 4 times or 6 times at the 1 yard line. And that's kind of how it set up my college career. So seeing this in Fran Barron, I love it. I wish there's some accountability on defense to complement the offense. And, these guys, Nixon might not even be here next year, right? So you got to take advantage of where we're at.
Right. Yeah, that's the thing. The turnover every year. You're right. You got to figure it out quick. There's not a lot of time to sit here and take 3 games to get it figured out. Like that's why I said earlier, it's good to have a Tennessee right now exposed to everything, to an extreme probably on some of it, but exposure is exposure. And then like Coach said in the montage, I mean, it's up for them to fix it. And like Joe, you said, I mean, it's a great game for the coaches to sit down and rewatch the damn thing and see what they can do to get it, to make it right. So,
and hold everyone accountable, right? Because to me, a UConn is the trap game if we actually come out and beat Tennessee, right? But we can come out and there's a lot of fingers that can be pointed. Obviously, he's going to blame himself, but when they're going through tape and they're looking at stuff, I'm sure he's gonna hold those players accountable for all the little mistakes and missed tackles and everything and missed blocks that we had. And hopefully, they come out next week against UConn home opener and they punch them in the mouth the way they should have came out against Tennessee.
Yeah. Well, the way they did try. So
didn't look like first quarter, but
no, it didn't. But I mean, the effort was there. It was the mistakes that were made. So.
Yeah, the 3 after the second, third, and fourth, they were only down. If you take out the first quarter, it's 28-26. I mean, they did pretty well, the second, third, and fourth. But when you're down 17-0 against a team like that, you put yourself in a hole where it's, I wouldn't say insurmountable, but you'd have to play perfect after that and make stops, in which they didn't get at all.
Right.
Right. Yeah, and a team like Tennessee, I mean, playing perfect. I mean, you might not need to play perfect, but you can't have a 17-0 first quarter. That's for sure.
I think the biggest thing for me, talking to my college buddies, obviously, we went through a lot going in the 4 years we were there and seeing this now. It's like you actually always have belief now that you can win, right? I think that's really what started with Fran, is that you believe that you can win every game. Doesn't really matter who you're playing up against. And that's how I kind of went to the season, right? I always think we're going to go 12-0, but realistically, probably 8-4. But I think every step of the way going forward, we can win as long as we play our football, right? You can't come out flat like we did here and expect to win. I think, again, the second, third, and fourth, it was 28-26. That's kind of how it rolled. We were down 2 pretty much the rest of the game.
Right. Yeah. And then, bringing it to within 10 2 different times and just getting it there. And then the defense giving up the scores on the next drives each time is a huge buzzkill for an offense.
Yeah, but I tell you,
sorry, you
go ahead. No, go ahead.
One other point you guys made is, though, like I think the freshman, the kid who came in last year, the quarterback who hasn't played yet, he's not even, I don't think third on the depth chart. Williams, maybe, is that it? He's going to be gone. So like that's the thing here. And then our second quarterback's going to be gone also. So it's hard to keep continuity when you have 2 or more years, because these kids are want to play now, right? It's no longer the era when I went to college. It's I want to play. If you don't play in a year or two, you're going to be on to your next school. So that's kind of the problem you're running into also. If you don't find your guy that can be here 2 or 3 years, your backup quarterbacks want to play, right? So they're going to leave. It is what it is. They'll give you the season, and then if the guy's pretty good and ends up pretty good. Angelic, we all hope that your third, second, third, fourth might be gone. You're going to bring in another set of people, right?
Yep.
So that's kind of the piece here.
Yeah. And if you're really good, I mean, and I'm telling you, there was a couple times yesterday after a couple of Yassine's runs where I'm like, I wonder if there's Tennessee coaches that are like, ooh, how much money can we throw at this guy next year?
And
if he goes.
Not just Tennessee, anyone watching.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yeah. But he was running over like Tennessee linebackers. And to, your point, like it's Tennessee has a top 10 defense. So he's running over guys that are possibly, NFL players already is like a true sophomore. And so, yeah, that worried me a little bit when I was watching him yesterday. So.
Yeah, no one's talking about this yet, right? He brought in a bunch of guys in the O-line. Really, the center from Louisville, who was playing guard there, who played center yesterday, he didn't play bad at all. I thought he was actually pretty good. But they didn't replace anyone. They let the whole 5 guys, they didn't sub yesterday, which was surprising, right? You would think they put in like a Byron Washington, who's just a massive guy. He gets his arms on you and you're screwed, right? It's over once Byron's on you. He didn't play yesterday. They didn't sub at all yesterday, the offensive line, which was, to me, kind of shocking to see if you're down 17, not try something different. They didn't do that the rest of the whole game. And last year they were swapping out guys, keep them fresh. That's what they did to Tennessee yesterday. They were swapping out guys because they had their depth. And we have the depth this year. We're known as the development program, but that's what's also changed with Fran, right? We used to get killed if our best players went down. There was no second, third, fourth. We have depth now at every position that he's bringing in, but he didn't even use that yesterday. So no one's brought that up yet.
Yeah, it's a good point. Several good points you've made. So,
well, I appreciate you guys doing this. Is fun.
Yeah, every fan feedback segment for every post game, man, will be on Twitter doing a live space, and we got some bugs to work out, but I think as the season goes on, we'll nail it down. So appreciate you joining, and that's some good insight, man. And don't be a stranger. Come on back. What's your name?
Appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
Hey, what's your name, real quick?
I can't give it. I'm.
Oh, okay. Is it
public.
secret? Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I like that.
I wish I could. I can't.
Okay. I just see I see letters. I don't know if they're initials, but I was just curious.
Fair. We got to respect that. Respect that.
All right, man. Well, thank you.
Appreciate
At Cuse Alum 44. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Right. Yep. Take care.
Okay.
Man, I'll tell you what.
What do we got? CIA agent out there? What the hell's going on?
I don't know, but look, I don't care. He gave some good insight. He's obviously
very good.
Die hard. He went to Syracuse. He said his family went to Syracuse around the same age as us because obviously when he went to school, the Robinson area, like, the 4 years of that mess, I remember that's around when I joined the military and got out and stuff. So it was a tough 4 years. So around the same age, had to deal with the same thing. So Fran Brown, as much as, you might want him to say some different things. He's always going to take the accountability, but he's also a breath of fresh air when it comes to believing that, they got a chance.
Yeah.
No matter.
I would agree. He's going to just go in next week and try to go 1-0. That's his mentality.
I mean, the thing with me, the way that he comes across it with me is that he does take he'll say some certain things. He'll call some certain people out sometimes. Even yesterday in the post game, he said, we got to get the ball more to Yassine. He basically called him the best offensive player on the team.
Yeah. No, he did.
So,
he did.
He did. Yeah. He did.
That's exactly what he said.
He did. That's verbatim. So he'll do things like that, but then there's other times where he'll dance around questions to avoid calling out people. He'll take the accountability, but I mean, I'm within full belief that he, behind closed doors in practices and in meetings, he's got no problem telling those people what is on his mind. So,
let's see. At David Super in the spaces. New season, time for some hot dog with ketchup talk. We'll get there. We'll get there.
No, we don't need to do that at all.
At R Files 90, I think Angeli showed he can be the guy, but his ceiling will depend on if the O-line can shape up. Fact check true. Concerned about this D with who is coming up. Front seven didn't force any real pressure and was oversized in the run game. DBs struggled sticking with their guys plus injuries. Yeah, the injury thing, I guess we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm going to skip around a little bit. Gosh, there's actually a bunch more, and we barely touched the surface of this. At Robbie 2 times, 2x, whatever. Am I the only one confused why Ricky Collins didn't see the field at all today? I get he lost the QB battle, but down 24, we don't make any adjustments. It's a good point, but that's just not what Fran Brown does. Right? I mean, I can't remember exactly what game it was last year, but when we were wondering if he was going to yank Kyle McCord and he didn't, he just left him in there. Gosh, I wish I could remember. But I mean, this is not really his style. Joe, what do you think?
I just think that if you
sends a wrong message.
Well, I mean, I think it does, right? Because, they gave it the job to Ricky Collins after the spring. And then Angeli comes in after the spring. He only has the summer to work. And then you turn around and you name him the starter for Tennessee. To me, that means that, he had to come in and really, take the job from Ricky Collins. So, to me, if you go in and you just pull him right after, some unfortunate events against a good SEC, if not great SEC school, I don't see what that tells your players, right? Also at the same time, I don't really think that it was 100% Steve Angeli's fault too. He always speaks to it's everything is always up for grabs, right? There's always going to be competition for spots if you don't, work to get better. And I just don't see a situation where if it's not dude's fault, then why would you just take the guy out I'm down this amount. If this is your guy, then he's going to need to go through those growing pains. He's going to need to get rushed. He's going to need to take those hits. He's going to need extra reps with his guys to see what works and what doesn't. So to me, just putting Ricky Collins out there, that's almost like waving the white flag, or even admitting that you made a mistake on your decision. And I don't think Fran's going to do that.
Yeah. Again, yeah,
that, right?
Yeah, I would agree with that. I mean, simply put, it just is not. It doesn't. It would be the opposite of it. First of all, we don't need to psychoanalyze this thing, but it sends the wrong message, and it also can frustrate Angeli, right? I mean, you don't want to see the dude get hurt, and then you would really be second guessing it, right? But being down that much. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's just, let him sit in there and try to figure it out. That's what, put your big boy pants on. It's not, you know what I'm saying? It's just, that's how it should be. I totally agree with it. I like it.
You're not any reps against a team like this or competition like this until 3 weeks away when you're going to Clemson, when you're going to Death Valley. I mean, you have 2 presumably wins coming up, to where you should be able to, work at your craft and get better and figure some more kinks out and maybe fix some of those weaknesses. But yeah, you just don't just throw in the towel because, we're going to put Ricky Collins in and then what? Then we're going to go to UConn and have a quarterback battle.
It's just going to be
go up to, you got to give them as many reps as possible. It's his first start. They're all kind of new in there. You want to maximize those reps against that kind of defense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would agree. All right, what else do you got? I could keep going, man, but this is
more that there's some top fans that I want to.
Okay, well let's do our boy Noah at No Blanchard 44. We will be okay. If it weren't for turnovers, we would have went down to the wire or even won. Lots of good things, but a lot to work on as well. On to UConn. Yeah, if you're going to be as positive as possible, that's probably where you land.
They They had 14 points off 2 turnovers. So, I mean.
Yeah, and you're right. Exactly. And a defensive score. All right, go ahead. You got some top fans, you said?
So, our boy Zach. In a way, I wish we had run it more, and if it weren't for the fumble, scoop, and score, we may have been in a position to do so. We did not completely fold. There was a chance to make it a game again in the fourth quarter. The obvious glaring concern is our defensive scheme. Nothing that has been said or will be beat to death until UConn. Sorry, nothing that hasn't been said or will be beat to death until UConn. So I kind of like that take. I mean, that momentum play of that scoop and score really kind of hurts you. I mean, there was all multiple plays like that, right? That play, allowing them to score before half to make it a, what was it? To make it a 17-point game, is that game, right? And then the immediate interception after halftime when we had the ball. So I would have wanted, obviously I was looking at it like, okay, we go into halftime 24-14 after a crap first quarter and we get the ball, like, let's go. Like I thought, again, chance to momentum shift, and we just didn't take advantage of it. Top fan Dom.
Oh, Dom.
Bummed that they lost, but I think Tennessee is really good on the defensive side of the ball, and the only games we will be playing against that kind of skill is Clemson and Notre Dame. Tackling and the inexperienced players in the secondary concern me. So, again, kind of the same old, at this point. And top fan Andy Stewart. The bad is we got beat by a ranked SEC team with elite talent who scored 45 points on us. The good, we scored 26 points on a ranked SEC team with a top 10 defense with a quarterback making his second start ever. Let's remember, Clemson got beat down 34-3 against Georgia in its opener last year and came back with a 10-win season. I have a feeling it will still be a good year. So, hey, man, way to end that off on a positive note, right? He's right.
Yeah, you could be like Andy and just say, Twitter Andrew, the defense was putrid. These are takes I like, too. I like this take from David. Low energy Sean, tired from cutting grass all morning? No. In fact, I cut the grass yesterday. But as I let him know, I've been sitting in this wicker chair for 2 hours now. And my ass is killing me. Dude, it's killing me.
You can stand up.
I'm just looking out the window and it's like nice outside. The freaking sun's out. And I'm sitting in here doing a stupid podcast talking about a loss for this long.
Man, it can't be 70. What, 70 degrees out?
75. And sunny, which feels like 80, which still isn't hot enough for me, but I'll take what I can get after a very disappointing August this summer. So, yeah, it wasn't good. It wasn't good. Like low 80s. Anyway.
No.
No what?
But.
No, it wasn't good, was it? You didn't have a good one either, did you?
Mm-mm.
Yeah. Sorry, David. I'm not trying to disappoint, buddy. Well, I'll get it figured out. Maybe coffee before the next one. I was energetic to start this thing. And then, you just sit here for so long. It's like we don't get commercial breaks. We had Joe's 10-minute technical difficulty break, which I guess I should have stood up, and I didn't. I just sat here sighing because Joe was taking forever.
I'll take that too. I'll eat that.
Yeah.
I'll eat that again.
Yeah.
It wasn't really technically difficult. You're trying to figure something out, but you could blame it on me. That's fine.
It was a technical difficulty. You said you couldn't hear the Spaces music, the bumper music playing. So we were trying to figure it out, right? And we jumped in, and what happened? You could hear people. Wow. And why and how, I don't have any idea.
Technology.
Maybe I need to just start over with the equipment. I don't know.
Look, is it just me or that did we thought about this game, right, going into it, about how kind of we had to have the perfect kind of game, right? Like we had to have win the turnover battle. We needed to have those kind of plays. Just
Yeah. It's called like what you need to do against a team that's probably way better than you. You got to play near perfect game. You got to win the turnover battle. You can't get sacked 5 times. You can't turn over the ball right after you just get a turnover. You can't make dumb mistakes, mental errors, and get penalized for them.
Yeah. And so, like, I mean, that's the whole thing is if you look at it and you say, if I would have told you going into the game that this team was going to win the turnover battle, they're going to have this many stats, like that, like, I feel like it would have been a lot worse, to be perfectly honest with you. Like, I was actually worried with this offense and not knowing what to think about Angeli or anybody really. Like, I was worried that it could have actually looked a lot worse. So, I mean, I don't want to be the only one to think like, I mean, I took a lot more positive, I feel like, after yesterday than I actually did negative. Because if you tell me that scoop and score, they win the turnover battle, they sack us 5 times, and like we start off 17-0, then I don't guess that the score is 45-26.
Really?
And that wasn't like, yeah.
Okay.
I would have guessed that we would have got beat a lot worse. And that wasn't a 45-26 to where it was like, oh, they're beating us 45-7.
And then we put all their second string
scored a couple touchdown. Yeah, no. I mean, it wasn't like that. It was, like you said, a situation what we were all talking about. If we don't go for 2 the last 2 touchdowns, we just kick if we just kick extra points, then from second quarter to the fourth quarter, we tied them. We basically played them even. So even with all the mistakes that we had. So to me, there was more positive than negatives. I think that some of the negatives that we saw yesterday, I think were to be expected because it was Tennessee. And maybe that's just me.
Are you done?
Yep.
Is this what I get for shutting the podcast down for 4 months? Shows like this?
What are you talking about?
Just a lot of talking from you and me listening.
Oh, really? We're going to go there?
Yeah, I think so. Well, look, the good news is we'll be back Tuesday. I think, right? Yeah. That's when we would usually do it. So we'll be back Tuesday. And I got a lot more fan feedback. First of all, appreciate everybody for the fan feedback. The Twitter works and Facebook even kind of works. And I'm happy with that. I can deal with that. I was a little worried that not being on Twitter for the past however long was going to like just like I just felt like it wasn't going to work as good. Is it when you're on there a lot and you're tweeting or you're Xing, whatever you're doing, you tend to, it travels more. The more you do it, the more it travels. And so if you don't do it, then, I was thinking, man, we might get screwed. Plus, I totally forgot to ask for thoughts on the games yesterday. It was like an hour after, and that never works out good, but it did. So I appreciate it. Just goes to show you. Get a strong Twitter base. I love it.
Hey, look, I was okay with the 6 comments we got from Facebook because they all had meat on it. It was a paragraph, and there wasn't a lot of, ugly one-word answers. So,
like the defense was putrid. Stop the GD run. Yeah. Forget the first quarter. Too many self-inflicted wounds. No secondary. Yeah. Stuff like that. That's on Twitter. Okay.
Hey, look, all those people, really what they need to do is they do some research on what Tennessee's offense has done since Josh Heupel's been the coach and what their rushing averages are against SEC schools. And then they can try to, maybe educate themselves a little bit.
Damn.
It ain't easy. I'm just saying, it ain't easy.
Yeah. Well, that's their bread and butter.
Yeah.
Okay. That's it. All right. Look, we'll be back here Tuesday to talk about UConn. It should be, hopefully, very quick, by the way. That's what I'm hoping. Nice and easy.
It will be.
Come back strong against UConn. See what happens from there. For Joel, I'm Sean. We're out.